Recently, I was having a conversation with a guy who had been divorced and, went through some like toxic situations, red flags with the ex-wife, tolerated a lot. He didn't put down any boundaries. And so he's been divorced. And long story short, he was talking to me about how he had been sort of seeing a girl for about 7 months. And at first it started off with how interested he was or is in her, right? And then slowly he started to say things like, yeah, she does a couple things that remind me of my ex. Which is like a huge no-go. Like, I mean, they're divorced for a reason, right? But I let him kind of keep going, and he would say that sometimes she would get super like emotional and upset for no reason. Like she would get mad at him like giving her gifts, or every once in a while being disrespectful, or even curse a little bit at him. And like, basically tell him like, oh, you're not like in the right place just yet. I need you to get this thing lined up with your career, and then we can basically talk about dating. And he just would go on and on about like all the ways that she was kind of like being weird, wishy-washy, like she stood him up on 2 dates, like red flag, toxic situation, etc., etc. Right? And obviously none of this stuff is okay, but he's so wrapped up in it. People get into this like sunk cost fallacy, or dating what they're comfortable with, right? So like you live in certain situations that remind you of past situations. So he was finding comfort in toxicity, etc. And I had to point out to him at some point, right? He's talking about really wanting like a loving, reciprocal, fulfilling, long-term relationship, with like healthy boundaries, all the good stuff, right? And then I told him, the girl that you're describing now, that you're so wrapped up in, like, she reminds you of your ex, which is comfortable in a weird way to you, and you're accepting disrespect. So she's basically disrupting your peace, and she's the exact opposite of the 10 out of 10 like best relationship, best girl that you described to me. Like they're two opposite things. So she's causing you all this stress, disrupting your peace, and you don't even realize it. And he finally kind of started to wake up a little bit, and he's like, wow, like people haven't really been, I don't have anyone to be like honest with me like that, and I really appreciate you saying those things to help wake me up and snap me out of this. I think I'm gonna have to do something and move up forward from this relationship. So I say all this to say, just because it's comfortable doesn't mean it's good. First of all, there's the comfort zone, but if it's comfort from toxicity or trauma from your past, you got to learn to break out of it so you can actually reach the 10 out of 10 situation that you've always wanted.